Hello everyone, Chloe here and welcome to my channel. Before we get on with this video, make sure you get yourself something to eat or something to drink. And without any further ado, let us dive into Blackswan, the girl group that was created to fail. Now, of course, we cannot move on further into this video if you don't know who Blackswan is. So, Blackswan, also known as BS, is a 6-member global K-pop girl group under DR Music, also known as DR Entertainment. The group currently consists of hyunA, Leia, Fatou, Judy, and new members Sriya and Gabi. HyunA left the group on November 10 of 2020. The group debuted on October 16 of 2020 with their first full album, Goodbye Rania. Sriya and Gabi were added to the group in May 26th of 22. Blackswan is widely celebrated for being unique as they have an inclusion of foreign members who do not look typically East Asian. However, they are not the first group of their type, as their first album, Goodbye Rania, was a reference to the 2011 girl group Rania, which had its first ever instance of a black woman in K-pop. Rania has had so many members come and go. DR Entertainment just could never seem to perfectly execute the ideas that they had for this group. While it was and still is a good concept, we are still witnessing a significant struggle with the group, which is now rebranded as Blackswan. Rania, the original mess. The original lineup, which debuted in April of 2011, consisted of the members D, Joy, Tae, Shia, Sarah, Rico, Joy, and Yina. However, they officially debuted without Sarah and a new addition instead, Yejo. Yejo was apparently an official member of the group, but details on this are blurry as she ended up leaving anyway in the same month that she was added to the group due to work visa problems. The group faced a multitude of hardships. Rania was always changing and members would leave while others would be mysteriously added. They've had bad instances of stalkers, dating scandals, etc. Any bad thing you could think of had probably happened to Rania. DR Music is so terrible with their management that fans wouldn't even know when a member left, went on hiatus, would come back, or even when a new random member would be added. DR Music was also prone to making empty promises, with the promise to Rania's fandom to debut the group in America, but this never happened. Later instances of them asking for fans to donate money towards a new Rania album, which never came. In the later stages of Rania, they gained a significant amount of attention due to the addition of Alex Reid, the very first black woman to debut in a K-pop group. This concept was never before heard of, and of course it really created a lot of curiosity around the group.
I didn't really consider the fact, all the attention that was thrown all of a sudden to me, like all these newspaper things, like it was crazy. It was like literally on every newspaper, everywhere in Korea, like first black idol, da 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 da. And
however, Alex's role was rather strange, as she did not participate largely in group choreographies, nor was she really an integral part of the group. In a video with Grace, she even admitted that she often felt like the other, as stylists didn't even know how to style her hair or makeup, so she often had to do this for herself.
One time, it was almost time for Rania to perform, and Alex's makeup hadn't been done. When she asked when it would be her turn, they would say soon. When she insisted that there wouldn't be enough time, they'd ask if she could just go without it. Alex would then have to do her makeup by herself. To make things worse, they did not have makeup shades that fit Alex's skin tone. Furthermore, when it came to hair, Alex, who understood some Korean at the time, heard the staff saying they didn't want to touch her and even called her racial slurs. When one staff did finally attempt to work on Alex's loose curls, they quite literally tore her hair.
Which is an obvious instance of mismanagement, as we will see and have seen by DR Music. BP Rania, a variation of the mess. In 2016, new members were added to Rania. These people joined Alex and HyunA, known as Seok, Jiyoon, Tabo, Yumin, and Yina. Yes, Yina was actually a part of the original lineup, but went on a hiatus and rejoined BP Rania. This group was now called Blackpink Rania, with Alex as the leader and Blackpink being a reference to her being a black woman. I kind of found this a bit strange. Strangely enough, Alex was still not a part of group choreographies until their later promotional period of Make Me Up, a B-side where Alex was actually included in choreography and live performance. However, this didn't last very long, as later once again she was excluded from choreography during the Beep 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 comeback. The reasons as to why she was excluded: in Gracie Grace's video, Alex Reid actually says that she never knew what was happening. They would plan all these things, make all this choreography, and not tell her to come back to Korea in time to learn it. And by the time she'd come back for performances, she didn't know anything, so she just had to be shoved off to the side. Which again, a bad instance of entertainment company mismanagement.
And I had a question. Why were you always just at your parts but didn't go through the whole choreography?
Okay, that's the $1 million question, because I can't honestly say I know 100%.
Oh, wow.
Like during Demonstrate, I was told that I came in last minute, which I did, so I totally understood. That was one of those times when I was like, I don't want to be the girl who comes in after they've been like working hard and suddenly they have to change their formations and their choreography to accommodate me.
But Start a Fire, you've been in that group, right? And bringing the whole choreography?
So that's when it gets confusing for me, because then over time it became like I was in the dark. I would be in America and asking when I'm coming back, and then when I would come back it would be like late, and then they'd be like, it's too late, we can't fit you, and I'm like, what do you mean? Well, then why was I here? Like,
Eventually, like most of the others, Alex Reid actually left the group in 2017 due to the toxic situation, and we can assume that racism, language barriers, and mistreatment from DR Music played an extremely huge role in it. Along with Alex, HyunA also left due to age difference between her and the members. She was rather much older than the other members and she didn't feel comfortable with this. BP Rania's music and video quality just continued to decline, and the fandom was at an all-time low. And in true Rania fashion, another member of BP Rania actually left the group, as she actually fell pregnant and got married. A new member, Namfon, was randomly added with fans not even knowing a single thing about it. And then later on, Tabo, Seolgi, and Jiyeon had quietly departed. So now, in mid-2019, BP Rania had a mere 2 members, as Namfon had also actually left BP Rania mysteriously due to visa work issues. DR Entertainment did not want to pay for her visa, and she was basically working illegally in South Korea as an idol. And following the obvious trend of members just leaving the group, Seunghyun, who was added along with Leia and Younghoon, also left the group. While doing research for this video, I honestly got so frustrated with how chaotic DR Music Entertainment is. Like, I thought NCT was the biggest K-pop group, but Rania has had like a good 500 members in the group just coming and leaving. In the same year of Namfon and Seunghyun's departure, which was around 2020, BP Rania, which at the time consisted of HyunA, Leia, and Younghoon, announced the group's rebrand as Blackswan. Blackswan, the current mess. Of course, Blackswan is not immune to the DR Music curse, as HyunA left soon after the group's debut, due to a scandal involving money, men, and a scam. Later on, the status of having 4 members seemed to be in jeopardy when all of a sudden Leia claimed that Fatou was bullying her as an attempt to get her out of the group. This was later disproved, but it definitely created a rift in the group, and many fans demanded that Leia leave, which seemed to be something that could have actually happened as rumors started to spread. And unfortunately, Leia was very much encouraging the racist comments towards Fatou and the antagonistic ways that she was being treated. So when everything was proven to be untrue, a lot of fans generally were not impressed with Leia's behavior, and many even demanded that she is not ready to debut as an idol. She's too immature. She needs to leave. DR Music did not handle the scandal well at all, and it shows that their lack of good management has not changed since 2011. Leia, at the end of the day, did not leave the group, but DR Music kind of diverted attention from the obvious tension in the group by announcing a round of global auditions to select new members for Blackswan. Doesn't this sound oddly familiar? The difference, however, between Blackswan, Rania, and BP Rania is that Fatou, the second black woman to debut as a K-pop idol, is actually an integral part of the group. She is more familiar with Korean, and she's almost like the face of the group. She is, however, still a victim of racism, and she has briefly mentioned problems with stylists, so these parallels between her and Alex are still present. After HyunA left, the group was consisted of 4 members, and they had a comeback with Close to Me as the 4 of them. I do believe that Blackswan will be the most successful attempt of a girl group, and I'm seriously hoping there aren't any random lineup changes, but the patterns that we have witnessed from the days of Rania to BP Rania to Blackswan are rather consistent. We will see a group debuting, having a song, then all of a sudden some people leave and then the group is less. And then a scandal happens, other people leave and the group is less. And then later on, randomly, some members are added or a round of auditions is held to add new members. Then all of a sudden, they also leave and they have a comeback. And then, you know, it's like a very consistent pattern. And I'm afraid that is what's happening to Blackswan. As we've had HyunA leave, we would have threats of Leia leaving. And now we've had 2 new members being added. And it's like, what if something else happens? You know, it's one of those things where you have to speculate. You have to really be cautious when you're entertaining a group that DR Music debuted, because DR Music is obviously very inconsistent with the way they manage their groups and the way that they handle the members in the groups. Of course, however, we need to acknowledge that DR Music is very much monetizing the fact that they have these foreign members that are relatively a unique concept in K-pop, which can play into sort of tokenism, but this is a video for another day. DR Music seriously has a long way to go and a lot of changes to implement. Hopefully Blackswan is here to stay. However, the consistent kind of almost failures of Rania, BP Rania, and almost Blackswan have sprouted a few conspiracy theories, one of which is that DR Entertainment is actually a money laundering scheme. Now, this whole theory is sprouted from the fact that people are wondering how DR Music has been able to keep their doors open since 2011. Considering the fact that Rania was really popular during that Dr. Feelgood debut era, however, popularity gradually got less as fans got more frustrated and their sales started to perform significantly less. That's why we would see later on in BP Rania that their music video quality would take a great decline, and you could kind of tell that DR Music didn't have the funds anymore to keep on pumping money into this group. However, one day BP Rania just suddenly rebrands, and next thing they're debuting a whole new group, Blackswan. Let me know down below any of your thoughts, your opinions, and your feelings. Of course, I'd love to hear them. And if you think that Blackswan is here to stay, or if DR Music has just created another group to fail. Make sure to stay tuned for future uploads, drink something good, eat some good food, you know, stay amazing, and until next time, bye!